I was just a boy when I first met Charlie. I was 10, maybe 11. My parents had taken me to a pet store for my birthday, promising I could pick any animal I wanted. While most of my friends were getting dogs or cats, I was drawn to the back of the store, where the birds were kept. That's where I first saw Charlie, a small green parrot sitting quietly in a cage. His feathers were bright, and he had these curious little eyes that seemed to study everything around him. I knew right then, he was the one. Charlie wasn't just a pet. He was my best friend. From the day I brought him home, we were inseparable. He would perch on my shoulder as I did my homework, watch TV with me, and even sit by the window while I read. He had this way of making even the quietest moments feel full. And when I was sad, Charlie seemed to know. He'd nuzzle my cheek or mimic a soft whistle, almost like he was trying to comfort me. Over the years, Charlie became a part of the family. Everyone loved him, but he was always my bird. He would call my name in his funny, scratchy voice when I walked into the room. He learned to say good morning and good night, always in his unique way that made it feel like we had our own special language. Charlie was there for every big moment in my life. When I graduated high school, when I moved out for college, even when I got my first job. He had lived with me through every change, every chapter. And as I grew older, so did he. I noticed his feathers starting to lose some of their shine. He wasn't as playful as he used to be, but he was still Charlie and me constant companion. The years rolled by, and I guess I never really thought about how long Charlie had been with me. It's easy to forget that our pets age too. I started noticing that he was quieter, that he slept more. He still greeted me in the mornings, but his voice wasn't as strong. I tried to ignore it, telling myself he was just getting old, but part of me knew something was wrong. One morning, I walked into the room, and Charlie wasn't in his usual spot. He wasn't on his perch, where he usually waited for me to start the day. I found him at the bottom of the cage, lying still. I rushed to him, calling his name, but he didn't respond. I picked him up gently, holding him in my hands, but he was already gone. I can't explain the pain I felt at that moment. It was like losing a part of myself, a piece of my history. Charlie had been with me for over 20 years, more than half my life. He had been there through all the highs and lows, the good days and the bad. And now, he was gone. The house felt so empty without him. The silence was unbearable. No more cheerful whistles in the morning, no more little voice calling my name when I walked in the door. It's strange how much space a little bird can fill, and how empty it can feel when they're gone. For weeks, I kept expecting to hear him, to see him sitting in his usual spot by the window. I couldn't bring myself to move his cage. It stayed there, untouched, a painful reminder of the friend I'd lost. People would tell me he was just a bird, but they didn't understand. Charlie wasn't just a bird. He was my family. He had been with me through everything. I couldn't imagine my life without him. I still think about him every day. Sometimes I hear a bird outside, and for a split second, I think it's him. It's funny how grief works like that. The smallest things can bring all the memories flooding back. I never got another bird after Charlie. I don't think I ever will. Some people might think that's silly, but I know no other bird could replace him. Charlie was special, and I'll always be grateful for the time we had together. He taught me so much about love, companionship, and how even the smallest creatures can leave the biggest marks on our hearts. Losing him was one of the hardest things I've ever gone through, but I wouldn't trade the years we had for anything. Charlie may be gone, but he'll always be with me. In the quiet moments, in the memories we made, and in the space he left behind.